we get to choose. And our message today is to choose love. To choose love no matter what. The example of the crucifixion was an extreme example to say that even in this, even when I'm nailed to a cross, even then, it is well with my soul. Even then, I am not justified in anger. Even then, I am not justified in projecting. Even then. Even then, I can unite in the consciousness of love and of God and rise. Rise above the grit and the grime of the everyday experience of being a spirit, having a human experience, where we misperceive for a very long time that we are a body. And it is, if you consider it, only the body that can be crucified, only the body that can die, only a body that gets birthed. But who you are eternally is birthless, is ceaseless, and does not die. So I've been viewing this birth to death experience, this in-between time when we're saying, hello, rise up and be the Christ here and now. I've been viewing this as our very own birth canal. It's this idea of, it's like this birth canal where we are being constricted. We are being constricted, and you know what? It's uncomfortable, isn't it? There's pressure, and there's stress, and there's the appearance of worrisome activity going on in our lives and in the world. Serious stuff, right? When you focus on it. And the point is that in this, if we are unlimited spirit, in our remembering, we're creating our own way home. Our own way home. And it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So what we learned today and what this day is about rising, is about something new. And I was talking with some people. I love Sundays. Everybody knows I love Sundays. I just think it's so much fun to come together, to talk about this, to remember, to sing, to connect with one another. Because we're so separate in our lives. I know that you have other options. I know that you can go to your computer and you can press on something and you can listen to world-class speakers and teachers in a moment. And I love that we can do that everything's speeding up and it's faster and faster. And when we listen to the right message, it does help us. But nothing compares to walking through the door of a community and getting a hug, and seeing and being seen, of breaking bread together after the celebration. Nothing compares to that, because you know what? We were meant to be together. We were meant to relate. We are in relationship all the time. And so that's what we are here to be and do. And so on this particular spring day, I love Easter. I love the way we do the Easter message. I think it's profound, and I think it is freeing. And within this week, within everything that we talk about in this week, is absolutely everything you need to know for your awakening. There's nothing left out. It's an intense week, just like that birth canal. It's intense. And it's intense because it's meant to push you into something greater, to lead you to greater life and living and beingness. I like this time of year. I like that Easter happens this time of year because you know what? We decided it would, and so it does. And so I awaken in the morning, particularly early on Sunday mornings. And this time of year, when I'm laying in bed still, deciding, awakening, and I'm awakening from one dream And I can choose whether I continue dreaming or not. And in that in-between time, I like that in-between time, don't you, where you're kind of drifting. The world hasn't encroached upon you yet, and you're just drifting. And I hear a noise outside. And it's one single song, pristine and beautiful. The song of a bird. And it leads the way. Because in a moment, another one joins in. And then in another moment, two more join in. And then there's this cacophony of a sound, birds singing, welcoming the awakening of a new day. That's what I heard this morning. That's what I heard this morning, and I thought, that's the message. That's the message. Who among us is going to join that song, that voice that appeared before by our brother, Jesus, who became the Christ, who sang a song of love and of freedom? Who among us is going to join in that song? Because the call is being made now. This now. And it's important. Do you feel the urgency of it? Do you hear it calling your name? Do you feel it tugging at your heart? Because to me, that's what this season is about. That we can choose to fall back asleep, or we can choose to wake up. Today we celebrate life. Easter is about celebrating life. Today we celebrate life. We have a slide on that. Today we celebrate life, not death. If you were raised how I was raised, this week was a harrowing week of remembering atrocities, of remembering pain and suffering, of being told that I was a sinner, of being told that somebody suffered, bled, and died on a cross for my sins. And I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense. That just doesn't make any sense to me. What loving God would require that of his beloved child? And so I kind of let go of those ideas for a while, and I focused on the Easter Bunny and the Easter eggs, because that was a whole lot more fun, and that I kind of got, new life and fertility, and, that all made sense, spring, and all that made sense to me. But what I know today is that we celebrate life, not death. We celebrate our divine inheritance as holy and beloved children of God. We celebrate the choosing of love, that we may be what Jesus demonstrated to us. We honor the perfect purity of the Son of God and not his sins. And so this is a week of life. This is a week of turning to life, not death, of turning to holiness, as all is holy now, and not sin, which is merely just a mistake and forgetting. We don't need to judge. We don't need to punish. Just a little mistake. Choose. Unlimited being. Choose. Choose love. And so who is that Son of God that is purity? It's you. Yeah. Raise your hand. Who is that Son of God? It's you. It's me. Collectively, individually and collectively, we are one. And that perfect purity that quote speaks of, that perfect purity is inherent within you. Unalterable. Unalterable. So Easter is the sign of peace, not pain. For a slain Christ has no meaning. A slain Christ does not serve us well. When that is the focus, we miss the point. History proves that. This happened a while ago, right? Right? In history, this happened a while ago, but as Leanne said, it's happening all the time. Every single moment, every single day. You being slain serves no purpose. You believing in limitation, you believing in death, you believing in fear serves no purpose. Us not awakening serves no purpose either. Nothing real will happen until we do. What do I mean by that? Nothing real will happen until we do. Because currently we are at play in the field of egoic thought, of fear, of sin, of sickness and death. It's not real. How do I know this? It doesn't pass the test. It's not lasting. It changes up on you. Facts and circumstances change up on you. Effects change up on you. It's fleeting. It comes and it goes. But the truth of our being is eternal. And so today, my desire, my passion is that we create a new story together. That we create a new narrative together. That we leave behind what we've been told. We leave behind that which no longer makes sense. And we begin a new story about being here and now a risen Christ. A risen Christ becomes the symbol that the Son of God's it's about the Son of God's forgiveness upon himself. There's nothing else out there. The sign that he looks upon himself as healed and whole. No one can do it for you. We must do it within ourselves. So the message of the crucifixion was intended to teach us that we cannot any longer perceive any form of assault or persecution and react to that. If we respond with anger, we're teaching anger. I know that's hard sometimes because I know you feel justified. I know I feel justified in my reaction to much smaller infractions than being crucified. And so we practice moment by moment by moment, choosing love. The crucifixion is the symbol of these projections. But the resurrection is the symbol of sharing love, of being love. And the crucifixion is the perfect symbol of the conflict between ego and the Son of God. When we were singing, "It is well with my soul, it is well with my soul," we were hearing one voice. We were sensing and feeling only one voice. The message today is to hear only one voice, to practice hearing only one voice in the midst of your daily crucifixions. Hear only one voice, that you may never be called on again to sacrifice or to suffer. And you might ask, so, how can that be? How can this be? And again, I go back, we touched on this last week. But what I want you to do is just imagine with me, if you will, any small infraction upon your peace. And then imagine yourself hanging on a cross. You're hanging on a cross. It's a vertical and horizontal axis. When I said that it is a struggle, a symbol of the representation of the conflict between the ego and God, or the highest self, I mean that this is the vertical axis, is the truth of our being, is us being spiritual, divine, unalterable, holy, beloved, children of God, aspects in the mind of God. And this horizontal axis represents time and space, being earthbound, having a body. And that we hang upon this axis. And to our left is the past, and to our right is the future. And if we watch ourselves during the day, we're focused that way or that way 99.9% of the time. And the message here is to center at that intersection of peace, of love, of hearing only one voice. We wear a crown of thorns, representing our thought process, representing the brain mind, representing the thoughts we choose to think, representing the media we choose to watch, representing war, representing thoughts of fear, of limitation, of judgment. What happens when you wear a crown of thorns and you listen to those thoughts? You got a headache, don't you? It's a bad one. It's the worst. And it lets blood. It releases your life force. It dissipates your life force. It drips down you. It depletes us. And the nails, boy, the world's sure going to keep you nailed down if you listen to it. You're too old, you're too fat, you're too thin, you don't have enough education, I'm unhappy, I don't have enough, I don't have money, I don't have this, I don't have that. Who are you to think you're wonderful? Who are you to think you're magnificent? And here we are. Here we are. The steel of the nail, heartless, cold. And then the soldiers around us, representing those who are complicit with the prevailing thought of the world. They have armor, they have their gear, they have their weapons. They are hypnotized under the influence of the world of fear. And what the message of the Christ is let go of that. Let go of the future, let go of the past, let go of the world. I center here. Into thine hands I commend my spirit. Through it all, my eyes are stayed on thee. Through it all, my eyes are stayed on thee. My eyes are stayed on love. My eyes are stayed on that spirit that is unalterable within me, a loving God. And I rise, and I rise. I take a breath, and I rise, and I see peace in the midst of chaos. I see peace in the midst of war. This is the message of the crucifixion and Easter. In this is everything we need to know. Into thine hands I commend my spirit. Forgive. They know not what they do, including us as separated. And to love. To love. And so that tomb, the tomb that the body was put in, was empty. There was no body in there. Nobody. 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 because into thine hands I commend my spirit, we rise. We rise above being a body. We rise above form. And we rise into peace that we may see love. That is the message of Easter, of the resurrection. The tomb is empty. Now, I don't know about you, but like when I was looking at the story, I mean, this was a big tombstone. It was big, and it got rolled away, and nothing was in there. And so what this tells me is that there was nobody to put in there, because you cannot be contained in a tomb, because you are life everlasting. And when you get that, no tomb will ever hold you except the one you believe will. Release those tombstones and consider them to be stepping stones that you called forth, that are here as your Savior for your awakening. So we're told to walk this way, and I know isn't there is it an Aerosmith song? Walk this way, and if I were a singing minister, I'd sing it for you. But I'm not, right? I can't sing. So we're told to walk this way. Does that mean I have to literally get crucified? Well, as I said earlier, we're crucifying ourselves throughout our day, all the time. What it means is to follow the experience, follow the spirit of the experience now, right now. I imagine the lightness and the levity. We were all talking on Friday at 21 Up, and we were talking about the crucifixion. It was Good Friday. And at one point, I just remember thinking to myself, you know what? We all need to just lighten up. We need to lighten up. Not be so serious. The example was given, we have all that we need. The moment that we kind of separate a little bit and watch it all, it's like a movie. And it's really kind of crazy and funny and touching and compassionate and fearful and everything. But when you separate and don't identify with it, when you lighten up a little and go, oh, isn't that interesting? Look at what I called forth in my life. What a fantastic teacher that is. I wonder how powerful I am that I created that so that I would remember. So that I would remember. And so walking this way, walk as light, walk as love, forgive that past, release that future. Forgive the soldiers that you've employed in your movie to really test you. Forgive. Forgive your projection of it all. Forgive. Join into thine hands, I commend my spirit. And moment by moment, am I choosing love? Am I choosing to give the lilies of Easter or the thorns of the crown? Every moment it's a choice between lilies, love, peace, thorns, judgment, fear, illusion. That's it. 2 choices. And you'll come to learn there's really only one, and ultimately we all make it. So the journey is assured, the birth is assured. So let's celebrate that now. So this Easter, we each have the power to celebrate and to accept our own resurrection as the living Christ. And how do we do that? We do it by seeing beyond these boundaries of death, of loss, of fear, of these tombstones that we've projected, that we've called forth, or just happen to be there. Who cares how? But that we get to look at them differently. As something that helps us to rise above. So take a breath with me. You are the one who has been reborn this day. We're celebrating our rebirth. And all we have to do, it's really just simple, choose only loving thoughts. So some of you are going to have family over today or go over to family. People who you say you love, right? 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 Or at least you're supposed to. Practice there. Practice when you're driving down the street and someone cuts you off. Practice when you're waiting in line and the little old lady is counting her coins and you're like in a hurry. Practice it when you think you have a diagnosis that seems to say what will happen to you. Or when somebody you love tells you they're leaving. Or when someone you love has chosen to release the body, to shuffle off the mortal coil and continue their journey elsewhere. Choose love. In love, you are resurrected. Simple. In love, you are resurrected. In fear, you are crucified. In love, you are resurrected. In fear, you are crucified. What then will be your choice in this lesson in which death offers you eternal life? Death of the ego, death of sin, death of fear, death of illusion. So happy Easter. Happy Easter, everyone. Happy birthday. Happy rebirth day. Happy day that we begin to sing together the song of love, of the morning bird that leads us, the first to awaken, and that we all just join in. We all begin to join in our song to walk as the light, as the love. For in love there is only peace. And in love there is only infinitude of pure spirit. In love is Christ restored to your consciousness. In love are you returned.